one thing that I have to ask more than anything is you're feuding with Greg Valentine. You defeat him for your second IC title run in a cage match, and Greg destroys the old title belts, the one with the green leather backing. And what happened with the belt?
I don't know if you know the story. You probably know the story already, but
I may have set you up for the story slightly there, but yeah, you got to tell me the full thing.
uh, so back then, when you were a champion, the person that beat you would get the title, right?
Right.
So I beat Greg the Hammer for the title, so I got the belt. I stood in the middle of the cage and raised it up in the air, but it was all beaten up. Greg did a pretty good number on the belt. He destroyed it against the cage. The leather was, it was barely hanging in. So I took it home, and they were going to make me a new belt. So I had that belt in my freaking gym. I have a gym in my house, and I just hid it on the floor, so I could look at it, it reminded me. And I must have had that belt in my gym, and I would say that's garbage. It's all beat up. It's worthless. So after about 10 years, I put it in the garbage and I threw it away. And I can kick myself. People have told me that belt would probably be worth about 50 grand, now, the way things are selling. Uh, but I don't know if you know the story behind the feud. We had the longest feud in the history of the WWF. We wrestled each other for a year and a half. But I, Mr. Wonderful is the one who tore my knee the night before we did the TV taping in Brentford. Mr. Wonderful crossed my legs. He was so powerful, he uh, uh, shanked on my leg and popped my cartilage. And Andre helped me to my room in Pittsburgh, and from Pittsburgh we flew to Brentford, Ontario, and I was walked into crutches. They were having a meeting. They were having the agent meetings, getting the show ready. And I told Vince, I said, Vince, I said, my knee's bad. I'm going to need some time off. I said, it would be nice if I could do an angle. I said, Paul messed up my knee last night. If we could do an angle, on TV, I said, I'd like to do an angle with Mr. Wonderful. And they said, well, let us think about it. And before you know it, they didn't trust Paul because Paul was bipolar and he would flip. Paul would tell the promoters off. So they didn't trust Paul. So George Scott was the booker, and he said, and they said, you're going to do the angle with Greg the Hammer. So I taped up I because I played football. I uh, had trainers tape up my knee when he was hurt in the past, so I knew how to tape up my knee. Where I taped up my knee real good, where it would hold it together pretty good, and then I had a brace. And I put a knee pad, so a lot of people really didn't see the brace. Uh, so the minute I put my head through the ropes, Greg attacked me, and I didn't have to do nothing other than take the figure four. Yeah, and and it got over. And I had the surgery a couple of days later, and believe it or not, I had the surgery. I think I had a couple of treatments, and I had a match in Madison Square Garden 10 days later, and they booked it. We were the main event in Madison Square Garden, uh, and there wasn't much that I could do because it was only 10 days. But it was still, surgery is surgery. So again, I taped up my knee pretty good, and so I told Greg, I said, Greg, you know, on my interviews, I said I want to follow through in my interviews, and the only thing I can do is we're going to have a dogfight. So when I walked in, I was able to run, and I double leg dived Greg. I took him to the ground, and we just beat the crap out of each other on the floor. And finally, Greg just left, and he got counted out. And we came back on a no count out, or we just people bought it. People bought it. That it was the real, because they showed they filmed the surgery. And before I went into the surgery and they put me out, I told the guys that were going to be doing the interview from the WWF. I said, I want you to do the interview as soon as I wake up, because I knew that I would be groggy and that people could feel that. I didn't have to fake the fact that I was in pain, groggy. So the minute that I woke up, they were right there with the cameras, and they asked me, and I knew what I wanted to say, but there's no way that I could get too excited, and we built from that.
Yeah.